Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalia Leigh. I'm an indie author and full-time freelance editor, and today I'm going to chat with you about my NaNoWriMo plans, last minute changes to my NaNoWriMo plans and what I thought I was going to be writing, and just how I feel going into November. Today is Thursday the 28th, which means NaNoWriMo officially starts Monday, November 1st, and I am participating and I'm very, very excited. And I just wanted to sit down, chat, let you know what I've been doing, the kind of outlining I've been working through, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so to begin with, I have been using my 2021 Preptober workbook diligently. I have been using a ton of these pages. I'm going to show you from a distance some of the pages I used at the back. You can see way back here I filled out, these are the extra pages in the back and I'm using them for outlining. So I filled out that entire page, this entire page, and then I was starting up here to work on this page, and this is where I actually switched over to my laptop just because I realized that I had a lot to write, a lot of things to plan, and I wasn't going to have enough room to handwrite everything. So I have been working in my Preptober workbook, and I chatted about kind of the idea that I had for my NaNoWriMo project in my previous video. I'll go ahead and link it down below. I have two NaNoWriMo prep videos up. The first one was filling out my master to-do list, and then I filled out my self-care bingo. I set some goals for myself. I developed or filled out the writing routines page and developed a writing schedule. So that was my first video, and I'll link both of them down below if you're interested. And then in the second video I focused on the creating a mood page, which was incredibly helpful. So I did creating a mood, and then I created some aesthetics, some boards on Pinterest. And then later on, I started working on the Crazy Ideas Live Here page. So again, those will be linked down below if you're interested. And in the previous video, I gave you a little bit of information about what I was going to write. I was thinking about a like cozy cottage witchcraft type of story, like a very low fantasy type story. And I was having a lot of fun with it. And I got all the way into the fun and games beat, and I started really struggling, and this is nothing new for me. Fun and games is where I always struggle. I think that's probably the case for a lot of people because Act 1 I have always found relatively easy to plot because there's so much going on. You're, setting up the world, you're setting up the first big problem for your character, there's a big catalyst and a debate, and then that pushes us into the new world of Act 2. And then suddenly you end up in Act 2 and you have to write, the bulk of the story. And that's where I have a tendency to struggle and fall flat. So I was trying to plot this book, this cozy little cottage witchcraft book, and I was really struggling. And what it reminded me of course there were going to be magical elements and it was going to be set in more of a historical time period. So it wasn't a contemporary, but it reminded me a little bit of a contemporary because even though the setting was magical and there were some magical elements, the problems I was planning for the main character were all very like mundane, everyday problems that like any person just living in the normal world could have. And because of that, it started feeling very much like a contemporary book. I love reading contemporary, but I have always wondered truly, how do people plot contemporary novels? It's like I can read them, I can watch contemporary romance, like I can enjoy these things, but I don't know how people plot it. You have to be, I think, really good at plotting like drama between characters, like interpersonal drama, to be successful at contemporary, and I don't think that's a strong suit of mine. And I've always told myself I don't think I could ever write a contemporary because I don't know how I would come up with enough problems in an average world to carry a story. And that was the problem that I was running into with this cozy little cottage witchcraft story, was that it was feeling like a magical contemporary and I had no idea what to do with it. So I was like, all right, I think I need to put this aside for a second and maybe start playing with another idea. So I actually hopped on my Pinterest and I had a board that was titled Nano 2017, and I don't think I participated in Nano in 2017. I'd have to look back, but I think I skipped that year because I was working so hard on Song of the Dryad. So I had these ideas and this board that I was developing for Nano 2017, never worked on it, but it's an idea that keeps coming up in my head and something that I continually think about and want to work on. So I started just playing around with ideas for that novel, and I don't want to tell you too much about it because I have this feeling that like the more I reveal and the more I talk about it, the more things are going to change, and then that's not even going to be accurate anymore. But I've essentially changed my mind about what I want to write for NaNoWriMo. Now, keep in mind, I'm a plotter. I like to have a very full and cohesive plot before I start to write. I've tried to pants before. I tried to pants Whiskey City. It did not go very well, so I had to go back to the plotting board. But today's the 28th. Like I said at the beginning of the video, NaNoWriMo starts on Monday, November 1st, and I have been working diligently on my outline every day, and I've really been enjoying it. So let me see what I currently have for this new outline, because like I said, I got up to the fun and games beat with my Cozy Cottage Witch book, and then I completely, like, it just came to a dead stop because I realized I have no idea what happens in the fun and games beat or what kind of problems this person is going to run into. So I pulled out this old notebook. I've had this notebook for many years. As I flip through it, it's like I can go all the way back to books that I was plotting such a long time ago. Like here in the beginning of this is Fire Tongue, and that's a book that I never published, but Greg actually threw it together in like a brief little format for me, and I got artwork designed for it. Let me show you. So of course I got this from KDP, so it has that terrible watermark on it. But this is artwork that I commissioned years ago. The thing that I used to do was every time I would finish a manuscript, I would reward myself by commissioning character art. I absolutely love this character art and how it turned out. So this is the main character here. So anyway, this is Fire Tongue. It's a huge book. Greg played with some really cool like formatting in the beginning of this book. So anyway, I've had this notebook, this plotting notebook, for a very long time. Because if I go back into the very beginning, I was working on revisions for Fire Tongue, and I wrote that before Way of Spears. So anyway, if we come back here to the back of this notebook, I have been working on this other idea. I have this little purple sticky note here to represent it. So on this page, I have some ideas about the main character, her main problem or problems, because I'm making her, I'm giving her a lot of problems. I'm learning that I enjoy having complex and troubled characters. They're so much easier and more fun to write than a character who seems to have most of their shit already figured out. So she has quite a few problems. She has a want, she has needs, and then of course she has a shard of glass. And if you don't know what that is, I highly recommend you pick up this book, Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I've had this for a few years now, and this hands down has been the most helpful outlining tool I have ever come across. I do have a link down below in case you don't have this book and you want to get your hands on it for NaNoWriMo or any other time of year. So I've been using this, developed the main character a little bit, and then I started just going through the beats. So I have opening image, theme stated, setup. The setup is quite long. It's about 2 full notebook pages, the catalyst and the debate, and then again after the debate beat, moving forward, I went ahead and I shifted over to my laptop, and it's over there plugged in with a bunch of cords coming out of it. So I don't want to go over and bring it over here right now, but on the computer, the outline that I have the debate. So I have all of Act 1 plotted, and then I have a couple ideas for the midpoint, and I'm using a combination of outlining methods. So not only am I using Save the Cat, but then I'm using an outlining method by somebody else. I'll put the name down below because I can't remember it right now. But there are 2 pinch points, I believe one before the midpoint and one after the midpoint. I've never used pinch points before, So I'm utilizing those along with the Save the Cat beats. So I have 2 pinch points figured out. I kind of have a midpoint figured out. I have the final image figured out. So I have some of the big things plotted, and now I'm working to string all of them together and use like those transitions and those smaller scenes to figure out how everything works kind of seamlessly together. And I am so very excited about this book that I'm thinking about. So like I said, I originally kind of had this idea back in 2017 for NaNoWriMo. I have changed up what I thought it was going to be. So for that 2017 novel, it was going to have much more of a kind of magical undercurrent running through it. Now this one, it might have a very, very small hint of magic, but at this point that's just an idea that's kind of bubbling under the surface, and I haven't really figured out if I want to weave that through the entire novel or not. So it's definitely more of a historical fiction, but I'm not, at least at this point, going really, really heavy with research. With Pistol Daisy, I did a lot of research into the Wild West, and it really paid off, but I don't want to overwhelm myself with research before going into writing a first draft. Of course, there are things that, if written wrong and not true to a time period, could potentially lead to major rewrites. But for the most part, I don't want to, like I said, get overwhelmed trying to get everything historically accurate. I just want to sit down and write the story and get these 50,000 words down, especially since I haven't written in over a year. This is my return to writing after, gosh, like 13 months away, I want to say, because I think the last time I wrote was September of 2020. So going into November, it'll be over a year since I've written anything, you know, creatively for myself. So I really don't want to put too many like constraints on my imagination and my ideas, and historical fiction can certainly do that. So at this point, it is a little bit, it's based in a historical period. It's going to be an adult novel, which is different. I've never written a main character who's actually, you know, well into her adulthood. I think this main character is going to be around 25 years old. At this point, it's hard to remember the ages of all of the main characters of the manuscripts I've written, but I think Daisy was the oldest main character I've ever written, and that was more of like a young adult, new adult novel. This one is going to be specifically adult. So I am excited about that because I feel like I can explore more mature themes. And that's not to say that YA doesn't have mature themes, because it absolutely does. But you know, it features younger characters. So with this one, it's going to be an adult fiction, a little bit of historical, maybe a little bit of fantasy thrown in. Lots of action and adventure, and with that previous little cottage witchcraft book, I didn't know what to write. I got really, really stuck, and I realized this is becoming like a magical contemporary, and I have never thought I would be good at writing contemporary. So here we are. It is Thursday the 28th, and I'm gonna start writing this book on Monday, November 1st. I am incredibly excited about it. I would say that I'm maybe a little bit nervous, but I'm much less nervous than I thought I was going to be, probably because I'm so excited about this new story idea that I'm developing, and because I feel like there's nothing like riding on my success. And that's one of the reasons I didn't want to work on Whiskey City for NaNoWriMo, because Whiskey City I want to do right, and I want to do it justice. I need to reread Pistol Daisy. I need to go through the entire outline that I wrote for Whiskey City. I need to go back through my series Bible. There is a lot that needs to go into me preparing myself to return to Daisy's world, and I think writing a different project for NaNoWriMo is going to be a really good way to start doing that, because I can kind of break through the ice of, okay, I haven't written in 13 months, and how is this going to go? So my hope at this point is that I will write the first draft of a new book, or at least 50,000 words of a new book for NaNoWriMo, and then maybe in December I can shift some focus to rereading Pistol Daisy, going back over my Whiskey City outline, and starting to kind of recalibrate my brain and start compiling new ideas, reread what I currently have for Whiskey City, because I'm already on the third draft. and I have forgotten much of what happens in that book. So this NaNoWriMo is going to be the perfect way to just dive right back in and return to writing after a long time spent away. So, like I said, I've been working on my Preptober workbook. I, of course, have been plotting in this old notebook of mine. I've been using this religiously. Again, if you do not have Save the Cat Writes a Novel and you are a plotter who's looking for a bit of help, definitely try this out. I will have it linked down below if you are interested. Yeah, so that's where I'm at currently. I am so excited for NaNoWriMo. I am going to be vlogging for sure. At this point, I'm not really sure if it's going to be like daily vlogs or if it's going to be weekly vlogs. It might be a combination of both. I'm definitely going to vlog day 1 of NaNoWriMo, so it might be more like, okay, I vlog daily for the first 5 days or the first 7 days, and then maybe I switch over to weekly, because by the time week 2 rolls around, things just get more and more difficult in Nano. Week 1 is the easiest, I think. But yeah, so I hope you're going to enjoy the NaNoWriMo content. I am very excited to get back to writing. I have not shared any personal writing content on this channel in a long time, and that's how I started out. So it's going to be fun to kind of like return to the roots of my channel and how I, met you guys, and I'm just looking forward to it. So let me know down below if you are going to be participating in NaNoWriMo. You can let me know what you're going to be writing. Let me know if you're going to be a NaNoWriMo rebel, which means you're not working on a new project, like maybe you're revising something else you've already written. Yeah, so just let me know down below what your plans are, and I will probably see you guys again on, I don't know, November 2nd with my NaNoWriMo Day 1 vlog. So wish me luck, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!